how's it going? I'm Mari. If you don't know me, I'm going to be hiking the PCT this year. I decided to bring a PCT expert.
Yep.
I'm deciding that.
Yep, that's me. Asia.
Yay.
Or Wildabound
Okay.
or Heaps.
If you have been following along any PCT accounts on Instagram, I feel like you have better been following hers because it's so good. I just thought it would be cool to ask her some questions about her experience and give us some tips. Also, apologies if there is bad noise. I forgot my microphone like a rookie, so hey, we're doing what we can.
It's just more of a natural ambiance now.
It is.
It's like you're out in nature.
Right. I mean, we
are.
We are, but it's like you are too. Yeah. You're basically just hanging out with us. So.
You're right here.
If you're unfamiliar with the PCT, it's the Pacific Crest Trail, and it goes across the US from Mexico to Canada, across California, Oregon, and Washington. Aisha here is, I like to call her an expert because she's done it not just once, but twice.
And in the same direction.
Yeah.
Why would you do
What
it
made
twice?
you want to do it the first time, and then what made you also decide you wanted to do it a second time?
Yeah, so first time I wanted to do it, the idea just kind of got in my head. I worked over at summer camps in America in my early 20s, and someone did the AT. And I just thought everyone foraged for food or something on there. Like, I didn't understand the idea of stopping in a town and getting food. So basically I heard about it there and I was like, oh, well, I'll never be able to do that. That's too crazy. And then finally, I got the idea into my head somehow by looking it up while I was looking at the AT. And it went from I'll just do a section till I just do the JMT to from over there I may as well try the whole thing. And so that was the first time. And then the second time, if you'd asked me while I hiked the first time, I would not have probably said that I'd do it again. Because it's a long time.
Right.
You know, it's a big commitment. There was so much other stuff I wanted to do.
Right.
But I just missed it so much. And I feel like every time you go to a trail, even if it's the same trail, you're going to get a different experience.
Right. You mentioned that you did it the same direction, so what made you want to also do it northbound twice? Yes.
Yeah, and everyone's like, why didn't you just go the other way?
Right.
I was like, no. I did it northbound twice because it's kind of the traditional experience.
Right.
I don't know, more people go that way. I enjoy people, I enjoy the tradition around it, going from the desert to the Sierra to Oregon and then finishing in how epic Washington is. That's it.
Yeah.
It's just the way.
Did you grow up as an outdoorsy kid? Like, were you always kind of doing stuff? Like, did you always have the inkling to be outside, or is it kind of new as you got older?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because when I was little, I was obsessed with camping. We just didn't, none of my family camped. We didn't really have the money to do big trips or get gear or anything like that. So as a kid, I was obsessed with it. I was like, I want to go camping and go walking out in nature, and I loved any time I got to go out in nature. And then as I got to preteen, teenager years, I was like very uncomfortable outside for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe because I discovered the internet, but that could have been it.
That time wasted. Yeah.
And so it took me until about 24 or 25 to actually get back into it. Yeah, so like pretty late.
What kind of things did you do to prepare before your first time out there?
First time, okay. Panicked a lot.
Okay, I'm on the right track.
Yeah, you're good. Okay.
No.
Second guessed everything.
Yeah.
But mainly I ran.
Oh yeah.
A bit. I don't think I did nearly as much as other people. I did a couple of test hikes. Not many.
Yeah.
Most I did was probably a 4-day trip.
Okay. Since you're from New Zealand and the trail is in the US, how did you go about getting your gear? Did you get it here or did you get it over there? Like, was that hard to do?
It was really hard to navigate because I got into the whole ultralight side of it, and that doesn't really exist here.
Right, it doesn't.
So I got most of my gear the day before I started. So like sleeping pad, socks, like everything basically. I had to rush to REI and then picked up my tent and my sleeping bag the day before I started.
Wow.
Yeah, and fingers crossed it was going to be okay.
So did everything work out as planned that first time? Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I made quite a few gear changes.
Right.
Because even after 2 years of research, I made some not stupid decisions, but it just wasn't the right fit.
Yeah, it's hard to know until you're using it. Yeah.
All you do is you keep hiking and then you realize what you don't need, right?
Yeah,
so my bag was much bigger the first time. Yeah, and I could barely close it at the top.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I don't get how all these things pack into here.
Right.
And I think I strapped my water bladder to the top. I don't know. I was a mess.
But then you just learn.
Yeah, you just learn. And like, you learn how to pack a bag.
Right. So this is the pack that she used for your whole hike last year.
Yeah, that's why it looks so dirty. I haven't washed
but like,
it.
I'm so amazed because it's tiny. Like, wait, let's compare.
Well, I haven't got all my stuff in it.
I know, but still, I bring this on a day.
I should just bring this one. That'd be fine.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
You don't need to sleep in bag, do you?
No.
No, you'll be fine.
If you want to see her whole gear list, she has a post on her blog about it.
Yeah.
I will link it below if you want to see everything she brings so that we don't have to go through all of that now.
Yeah, it's really long.
What would you say were some of your biggest challenges that you encountered, either like on your first time or both times?
Both times, I think the biggest challenge that people don't really talk about that much is, for me, it was getting bored.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just like the repetition.
Yeah, the repetition, just sort of, you get to a point where you've thought all the things you could possibly think, and then you've thought about them again.
Right.
And so that's why other people are great, because they get to tell you stories, so you're not so in there. I think combating that boredom was a huge part of being successful the first and the second time, because I think a lot of people leave because of that. They feel like, you know, I've done this for a couple of months, I know what the rest of it's going to be like.
Yeah.
Why don't I just stop?
Right.
Yeah.
How did you overcome that? Just being with other people? Or?
People help. Also kind of stopping every once in a while and being like, I'd much rather be bored here than anywhere else.
Yeah, true.
And it's not so much a, oh my gosh, I'm bored, you've got to entertain me kind of thing. It's just you're with your brain a lot. Mm-hmm. And eventually, I like having some sort of distraction. So music and podcasts and audiobooks really helped.
Right.
Some people don't listen to that kind of stuff at all, and I have no idea what's in their head and what they're thinking about. But for me, having something outside of the trail to just drift off to for a while was really nice, and then you come back and you can appreciate it more. Right. Yeah.
That makes sense. Did you feel a lot of differences between hiking the first time and hiking the second time? Like, did it seem like really similar the second time, or was it just a whole new experience?
It was completely different. There, of course, were some parts that were similar town stops, but I had a completely different experience the second time. I think for a part of the trail, I was kind of trying to chase the feeling of the first one, but I don't feel like that can come back. Right. The first trail, and everyone says this whether they did the AT or the CDT or the PCT first, they're like, the first trail will always be your first one.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the second time I did it, once I finally let go of the fact that it wasn't going to be exactly like the first time, that's when I realized that I can enjoy the experience as it is. Yeah.
And in what ways do you feel like the trail like has changed you? Like, do you feel like a whole different person?
Yeah.
From even between the two times?
Yeah, between the two times for sure. Yep. Yeah. So first time I was quite shy. Yeah. I was really terrified that people were going to think I was just like an amateur at everything, because I was. But more like get that feeling that's what are you doing here, kind of thing. I was really concerned about that, because even I kind of thought, what am I doing here? And then I realized that no one knows what the hell they're doing. Like, nobody knows, and everyone's kind of just walking around with their eyes closed being like, is this what I do? Which really helped. But I think the reason initially that I thought that was because I didn't have too many people at home that really supported me doing it. They were more like, are you sure? Are you sure you should do that? No, but I get it.
Yeah, but then it puts kind of that doubt in your mind.
Oh yeah, it did for sure. But I was like, well, I've told everyone, so I guess I have to do it now. And then the second time, I knew what I was in for. I was confident in my ability. I knew I could make it if I wanted to, and if I didn't get injured, because I'd already made it. But I also think that I went into it the second time with possibly a bit more of a positive mindset. Since that fear wasn't there, you get to experience the the trail in just a really like comforting, nice way, rather than, oh no, what's coming up around the corner.
Right.
It's, I know what's coming up around the corner and I can relax.
That makes it a whole different experience.
Yeah.
But I could also see maybe, did you have more boredom the second time then because of that, or?
I think so. Yeah, probably. Because I knew what was coming up, and my memory's actually like disturbingly good. So I was like, I know exactly what's coming up. But the people were different.
Yeah.
The people were different, so that helped. We dealt with fire and detours and closures, which I never dealt with the first time.
Right.
So I guess there was still a little bit to learn.
Yeah.
But the change in confidence was just huge.
And the other thing that I wanted to talk about is you did it alone both times, right?
Yes.
So solo female hiker, for all those people who say
don't do it.
Don't do it, females, it's not safe for you on your own.
It's very
Proof
safe.
2 times.
Hey,
totally
I'm still
safe.
here.
Yeah. Just from what I've seen online, I feel like there's a lot of solo females now.
Yeah, there's a lot. I think there's only getting more as well, as hiking becomes more popular in general.
Right.
And there's a lot of people and organisations and work going into like female empowerment in the outdoors, right?
So awesome.
And so now you're seeing people go like, no one else wants to do this with me, or I want to go do something by myself. I'm just going to go for it. But on the PCT, you're not really alone anyway.
Right.
You can be if you want to be, but you'll make friends. You make a lot of friends.
Yeah.
It's harder to be alone, I think.
So how long did it take you the first time, and then were you a lot faster the second time?
So first time it took me 4 months, just under 4 months,
that's
maybe
really
a day.
fast, I feel.
Yeah, I was just being an idiot and trying to prove something. But, well, not really trying to prove something, but I was like, I can be fast too. I can be fast and strong and a girl.
Yeah.
Second time it took me probably 3 months, 3 weeks, something like that.
That's
so
really good.
But I finally learnt the second time in Washington.
Yeah.
Like, how long does it, how many miles is that? That I enjoy going a bit slower.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It only took me 2 times in the PCT.
What made you realize that?
I think when I finally slowed down in Washington, when the border closed because of fires last year, they were horrendous, and the whole trail, about 100 miles to the border, closed, or 80 miles, something like that. So we had some extra time because we knew all we had to do was get to a certain part, jump off, drive back down.
Right.
And we were told it wasn't going to open for another 3 months. So no one was going to get to the border.
Right.
And so we were like, okay, I'm tired. I'd like to slow down. But I did learn from that going slower helped me appreciate it more.
Yeah.
And I got less to that place of being bored because I wasn't so desperate to hit miles or desperate to get to a town.
Right.
Yeah.
But so you did some pretty big mile days, right?
Yeah.
What would you say is the most miles you walked in one day?
51. I think we did.
So basically like 2 marathons in one day, just about.
Yeah, why? I don't know.
So I can't, like, that's hard for me to even imagine. Were you walking from dark to dark that day? Or?
I probably started at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And finished at 9.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a decent day.
I was really going for it.
Do you have any other tips for trying to do a big day if someone was like, I want to crush the miles?
Yeah, for sure. So get all your snacks ready.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like all of your pockets, if you've got pockets. Get all of that ready to go. Try just snacking the whole way. I find that if I have lunch in the middle, I get really tired.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. So like those little energy bursts. I kind of may have both times had 5-hour energy. Is that what it's called? 5-hour energy?
Yeah, those little like caffeine.
Don't do that. But yeah, that kind of helped right at the end. But apart from that, it's about trying to drink steadily throughout the day. If you get too dehydrated, you'll crash.
Right.
And it's also just about keeping a consistent walking pace. Water is so good. So I wouldn't say go way too fast. It would just be like continually go just faster than you normally would. the last bit's the hardest, probably the 5 miles at the end, because your feet just kind of feel like raw.
Did you get a lot of blisters and things?
No.
Oh, so lucky.
I know.
Do you have a secret? How did you do it?
I don't know. I think have really wide feet so that they don't. They kind of just.
Well, that's the tip, guys.
Have big old wide feet.
Sucks for me.
Yeah, but it's probably like have shoes
Yeah.
that don't let you slip around too much.
Right.
Socks make a huge difference.
Yeah.
So I always wear Injinjis.
Oh yeah, I've been trying those out. I
Love
really
them.
like them. Speaking of kind of what you wore, I feel like if you've been following her on Instagram, you've probably seen she has some really awesome shirts, and then sometimes you wear dresses, and I'm just wondering, like, how are you always having new things to wear, and what was your
reasoning behind that? Why do you keep
strategy?
changing? Yeah. Last year I had a real trouble with finding stuff that felt comfortable and looked, looked like fun
wanted.
enough.
Yeah.
I guess I kind of like looking like a fun uncle.
Yeah.
When I'm hiking. So I get everything from the thrift store.
Yeah.
Like everything. And it's just another way to stay interested in the trail and just see someone's personality, right?
Yeah, totally.
Like I dress kind of out there in normal life, so why not on trail? I changed about I want to say like 12 times.
What do you like about wearing a dress?
So what I like about wearing a dress is you're wearing a dress.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I just like the look of them.
Yeah.
I love people's reactions.
Right.
When you're walking along towards them.
Yeah.
And you either get a wow, a dress, or you get a okay.
Oh, you're like
Out here for a day hike, are you?
Oh.
But also just in terms of comfort, it's
It's good. It's just
like chuck some shorts on underneath so you don't just woo.
Do you have like a favorite go-to trail meal that you would eat?
Chips.
Yeah.
But meal.
Oh, wait, it's funny that you mentioned that. I brought something for you.
It's so beautiful.
I don't really know what your preferred kind
I think
flavors
actually
are.
for me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, anyway, if you follow her on Instagram, you'll see all the chip references.
Talking way too much about chips. I might actually leave and go eat these now.
Okay. All right, bye.
Bye. So my favorite trail meal was I like cold soaked instant refried beans and chips. And mayo packets.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Sorry. And avocado, actually.
Oh, yeah, that would
replace the mayo packets with avocado.
That sounds pretty good to me because I love beans, so I'm gonna have to try that out. What are your plans next? Like, will you go back to the PCT for a third time? Do you have any desire to do the Appalachian Trail or the CDT or New Zealand's trail?
I will say from 1 month to the next that I'm fully committed to doing one thing, and I'll tell everyone.
Yeah.
And 2 months later, I'll be like, actually, I'm doing the blah blah. So I can't guarantee any of this, but I'm going to do more hiking. I can guarantee that one. I'm hoping to do the TA at the end of this year.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, would love to. Would absolutely love to.
Awesome.
And then I may be doing the PCT for a third time.
What? What, next year? Or
next
no?
year. Or probably the AT over the CDT.
Yeah.
It's a social trail. I like all the tradition around it.
Right, yeah.
It seems a bit of a initiation into suffering.
Right.
You know? And like, how many times am I going to walk the PCT?
Right. You could set a record. I mean, it could be like your legacy.
Some people have done it so many times.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
So,
but I could try and beat them.
Try.
Not a good idea.
All right, well, stay tuned to see what she's up to. Make sure you can follow her on Instagram. You have a blog as well.
Yeah.
And in the near future, maybe there might be some YouTube videos.
Yes.
Yeah,
Editing all of my footage from last year.
That's really
slowly.
exciting. Yeah, so stay tuned. I'll put the links below, so make sure to check it out and give her a follow and just see all of the awesomeness. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this and hope you got some good tips and insight into hiking the thru hike. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks. I'm just going to check these out.
Oh, yeah. Okay, bye.
Bye.